Hey and welcome. Hey and welcome, you guys. Sorry for keeping you waiting so long. Your girl is back unofficially. My apologies. Before we get started in this thing, please like the video. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. Be sure to comment down in the comment section and share this video where you share your videos, because sharing is indeed caring. Caring. Also, the Cash App and Venmo are there for those who would like to partake. Baby, I hope this thing is recorded properly, okay? Because this is not take one, not take two, but take three. But we're going to get into it. Again, my apologies. I have not given y'all a Yikes, true crime, and docs in quite some time. And since I have been MIA, we have had lots of true crime and docs to talk about. Some I watched, some I haven't. I decided to put some of the other ones on the shelf to get to this one, because this one right here, baby, this one right here needs to be talked about. Okay. Unknown Number, the high school catfish. Come on, lips, get to working. Was released on Netflix, I believe, August 29th, somewhere around there, with a runtime of an hour and 30 minutes. And that was one of the things that I liked about this documentary, is that it was an hour and 30 minutes and we were one and done. Netflix tends to do a lot of docuseries, which are also great because some stories are a little more involved, and so you need to explain, and Netflix is going to give you that 3-part docuseries about an hour each. This one didn't need all that, okay? It was just enough in an hour and a half, because baby, it's going to boil your biscuits. Spoiler warning. I usually try to put it in the title, but if for some reason you made it onto this video, it's going to be spoilers all up and through. So if you haven't watched it and you want to watch it, it's been out for quite some time, but click off, pause, go watch it, come back, hear what I got to say. I'm going to give you a breakdown. Might be a little rant up and through here, child. I don't know. So this takes place in Beale City, Michigan, which, according to Google, as of the 2020 census, had a population of less than 400, okay? 300 or something folks, okay? They said the town only had one stoplight. One stoplight? So you know where this is headed. The adults, they stay in these kids' business. Now, we as adults, we stay in our kids' business anyway, sometimes necessarily, and every now and again, you know how it goes. So we have Lauren and Owen are who this documentary are going to be focused around. Lauren is really the main character, but Lauren and Owen were the ones that were receiving the text. So I'm going to put this photo up. This is Lauren, her dad. I can't remember the dad's name. Was it Alan? Get down in the comments and let me know. Her mom, Kendra. And then in the corner, we got her and Owen. Now, they were 13 when they start. Well, I think they were 13 when this took place, but they said something about they had been dating, and I can't remember if it was a year or 2 years. I didn't take that many notes on the specifics of that because that wasn't important, but I was kind of like, I'm gonna leave it alone. You parents, get down in the comments and let me know your feelings on the kids dating that early. Baby, maybe it's just me, okay? But it also depends on the level of dating. I feel like they was dating, baby, okay? They might not have been rolling around in that, hey, but they were dating. I had a little boyfriend like junior high school. But baby, that was when back when we had a house phone. He could not call the house. He could not come to the house. All that little boy was doing was carrying my books to class. But I digress. We're not here to talk about me. So we had this Halloween party. Like I said, the town is really, really small. So everybody gets an invite, allegedly, okay? But Lauren, she don't get no invite. She getting text messages talking about, your man don't want you, your man wants me. Immediately, what are we doing here? So I believe about a year passes and nothing. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, we pop back up with these text messages again. Now, they tried to figure out who they were from, couldn't seem to figure it out. Now, they pop up and they ramp up. So they go from, saying your man don't want you, that's enough, but it ain't, fairly innocent. And these texts were suspect from the get-go, okay? Y'all talk about Ebonics, baby. I was like, what are we even talking about here? Because some of the way you're talking is the slang, the lingo is not, it's not giving, okay? There was punctuation in these texts. Some of the language as we get into in these texts, very explicit. So by the time we got to by the time I sat down to watch the documentary, okay, I think it was maybe this was out for maybe 5 days. Y'all had already spoiled it, okay? All over the clock app, y'all had spoiled the who done it. So I already knew who did it going into it. I was spoiled. And if I didn't know, these text messages were our first indicator because there were signs, okay? There were signs pointing to who had did it. So they were just, not very nice texts. They were talking about her looks, how she was skinny and anorexic. Trigger warning, y'all, because eating disorder. How she was ugly. Just, all kinds of crazy things. Now, Lauren, she was a pretty cute girl. You can see in the pictures, blonde hair, blue eyes, cute, 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 cute. That mama, not so much. But she was a cute girl. And then, as if that wasn't enough, they got graphic. And when I said graphic, like I said, these are young kids. They are talking about having the actuals with her boyfriend, okay? Talking about how she's too slow, she not moving fast enough. That's why he's not interested. You got to be giving the BJ's rocking the mic. Really? Excuse me? And then in one of them, they used the word cream. Baby, my friend didn't watch it. I was telling her about it, and as soon as I said that, she's like, that's not a word a child would use. And I said, yeah, like I said, there were clues. Just disgusting, because why are you talking like this to anybody? But by the time we get to the end and figure out who it is, why are you talking to somebody? We'll get there. So the parents get involved naturally. They're taking the phones at night, but they don't change the phone numbers. For me, that was immediately no, because that would have ended this thing a whole lot sooner. I forgot the reasoning they gave, because Kendra was Lauren's mom, and I believe Jill was Owen's mom. But like Jill, I can't remember what reason they gave. To me, even if you wanted to keep your phone number, this is what we're going to do, okay? We're going to take these phones with your phone number, and we're going to give that to the authorities, okay? Then we're going to get you a new phone, new number, and only give it to certain people. I think we would have got to the bottom of this a lot quicker. And then if they wanted to keep that same number, once everything was solved, disconnect the new one, give them the old one back, if that's what we want to do. Or just make them get the new number. I really didn't understand the reason, and maybe I'm harping on it too much, but I thought that was silly, and we could have got to the bottom of it sooner, because to me, it was like immediately no. Just immediately no. So the parents are involved. The school gets involved. The superintendent, they don't get anywhere. They try their best. They're looking at the cameras. They're pulling people in. So finally, I believe after like 15 months, baby, the horror, the absolute sheer terror of going through something like this, 15 months as like a 13-year-old, because at 40 something years old, you're not blocked. Okay. But it was an unknown number, and they were using whatever. So I get why blocked was not an option, but you're not going to be torturing me like that. And I can't imagine being a younger person and having to deal with all this. Now, mind you, they're getting these texts during school. They're getting these texts in the middle of the night. And it's 30, 40, 50, 60 text messages in a day. So at some point, the parents are essentially overstepping their bounds. They're going up to school. They're asking questions. They're pointing fingers. I'm not necessarily going in order. I'm skipping over some things because, baby, we don't need to get to every single point, but you're going to get my point. So, mom, Kendra, Lauren's mom, she's the scorekeeper for the basketball team. Now, there's one game, Lauren don't score no points, and one of the text messages references, how she sucks. She didn't score no points. And there's a reference to the amount of points this person scored in the game. Now, because like I said, Kendra is the scorekeeper, they go look it up. They see who scored that many points. It was this girl, Chloe. Points to Chloe, okay? Excuse me. Chloe is the bully in the school, allegedly, okay? Her dad is a cop. Her mom is a piece of work. In my opinion, my words, not anybody else's. But because they were telling this girl people were jealous of her, Owen even said himself, like, she's not the nicest person. She was definitely giving you that vibe, baby. Okay. They had even said, like, I think one year that she was always in the principal's office. They're not about to call you to the principal's office for nothing, but go off, sis. It definitely was given a vibe. And she didn't do herself any good because after the documentary, luckily I had watched it by then, she had went on TikTok and gave her account. And she was like, first of all, everybody was invited to the Halloween party. I didn't know anything about it. Baby, the way she was talking, I'm like, I could see why they would think you did that, but it's not fair for the parents to be coming around and the school to be coming around pointing fingers. So, we're doing forensic dumps. They do a forensic dump on her phone. The police, they don't find anything. Oh, and in the midst of all of this, Lauren and Owen decide, let's just break up. Like, that's what they want. Give them what they want. They break up. But Lauren still continues to get messages. And the messages are actually getting worse. They're telling her to take herself out. I said, be so for real. Be so for real. So Owen eventually decides, like I said, going a little bit out of order, to get himself a girlfriend in another town. Town like an hour or so away. Might be more than that. And then her mom ends up getting a text from this unknown number. So needless to say, they end up breaking up because Owen's like, he just can't do this to somebody else. Kudos to you, Owen, because that's some real grown man behavior, or some real, it's commendable. So, they're blaming Chloe. They're blaming Chloe's friends. They're blaming Owen's cousin, Adriana. Adriana looked like she did nothing to nobody, child. Adriana looked like Chloe didn't bother me. And I just want to sit over here and read my books and do what I got to do. So Lauren's family, while this is all going on, they going through financial struggles. They didn't move three or four times. The police ain't getting to nothing, to the bottom of anything. They had tries they made, tries they might. I guess because it's a small town, they didn't have maybe the resources they needed. So they reach out and finally contact the FBI. All the while, the text messages are still going strong. So they end up dumping Owen's phone, and they see that it was a Pinger account, which is, to use, get the little burner numbers. If you know. So they go directly, the FBI, they go directly to Pinger. Pinger gives them 2, IP addresses, I believe. And one of them leads, dramatic pause, y'all, back to Lauren's mama, Kendra. Yes, you heard me. Lauren's mama, Kendra, is the one that was harassing her own child, as well as the child's boyfriend, the new girlfriend's mama, Adriana, just mass hysteria. Grown behind woman. Okay? That's why I was saying it's one thing to talk to, for children in the same age range, peers, to talk to each other that way. But the words and language you use, once you find out I was the mama, to these children, I'm getting off on this tangent. That's not even where my notes was going. I mean, it's in here somewhere, but that's not where my notes was going. So the cops come to the house. They real cool, calm, and collected, because you know how they do our people, but they was real cool, calm, and collected about it. And Kendra was given unbothered, y'all. I don't know if Kendra a little slow, child, allegedly, excuse my French, or what exactly is going on up there. It's definitely some type of mental illness. So she, she essentially confesses. They retrieve one phone and a laptop. And then, she didn't want to tell Lauren, but they're like, we got to tell Lauren. So Lauren comes out. They tell her she's in shock. Okay. I can only imagine what she went through in that house that we did not know about. I can only imagine, because baby. So the detectives are calling it cyber Munchausen. If you're not familiar with Munchausen by proxy, Gypsy Rose, I did a documentary on that. Is a Munchausen case where, you try to, for her mom, it was you harm your child to kind of keep them under your grasp. But for her, it was like the public attention. This was more so private attention. And was it probably a little bit of cyber Munchausen? Yeah. A little bit, but there's another layer to it. I'm gonna try and get into it. I'm gonna try not to rant too bad. I'm gonna try to wrap it up and not make this too much long. So she tells the daughter. The daughter is shocked. A lot of people didn't like her reaction, but I don't know what y'all wanted from that little girl. Now, what bothered me is she is hugging all over the girl. It was utterly disgusting after what she did to her. And I was kind of annoyed with the police because I'm like, first of all, why would you not separate these two? You got the victim and the person who committed the crime. So they finally, hold on one second, y'all. Sorry, guys. Mom duty calls, no matter the time of day or night. So they finally called Kendra's husband. Okay. He gets home before he can even get inside. They're letting him know what's going on. And he looked like he wants to make something shake. Okay, baby. His reaction was more close to what mine would have been. So he reveals to the officers that she's got another phone. Like I said, tight, 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 tight. So when they go inside, it gets even worse because he's like, listen, tell me what you did. Because if they leave out of here, basically it's going to be some furniture moving, go between the washer and the dryer. So tell me what you did now while they're here to protect you, because otherwise they're going to be coming back to get me. The poor baby ain't going to have no mama nor no daddy. So he finds out that the lady has no jobs. She's supposed to be having two. She done lost both. Okay. She ain't had no job in over a year. And I said, how and why? Okay. Why? Because I want to know how she lost the jobs. I think what people were saying in that cut article was that she lost them from being on the phones. I was just curious to know if there was anything else more nefarious she was up to, because the way he was carrying on with these children, I just needed to know. Now, she takes care of the finances, which is how she was able to get away with this. I think her stepsister had said something about a house fire and insurance payment. So I don't know how she was to keep afloat, but they was losing houses. So, because I was going to say, girl, if you know how to keep afloat, you ain't bringing in no income, please let a sister know. But on second thought, I don't want anything from you because you are disgusting. So he's telling her, listen, child, you got to go. Call your mama and daddy. You got to go get the heck up on out of here. But I was laughing. And like I said, the cops were polite, but they did tell her, because they were asking about the phone, and she didn't want to give the phone up because that was the phone. Okay, that was the phone with all the foolishness on it. The cops basically said, I will toss all this shit. I will toss all this shit up. Okay, I won't care what it looks like. And baby, from what I've heard, if they come in there and they tear your house up, they tearing your stuff up, they're not fixing it, they're not paying to fix it, they just breaking stuff and tossing it just because. Okay, just because they're there, they're annoyed and they're trying to find what they're looking for. So obviously she furnished them with this phone. So, what was I saying? Child, give me a minute. Oh, Kendra gonna say most of us have broken the law, but essentially we just haven't got caught for it. And I was like, ma'am, please be so for real. Don't point the finger over here at me, ma'am. Don't you do it. Like, my traffic ticket ain't, stalking and other things. So Kendra reveals that she was SA'd at 17, so she was gonna prevent it. And I was like, girl, how? By scaring her, I don't want to have a boyfriend, by thinking that it didn't make no sense. But sometimes people that don't have it all together don't do the right things. I don't want to do too much with mental illness because, everybody's got something going on, and that's why we have to try and remember that our mental health is very important. Mental wellness is important. Just as a reminder. So I don't want to do too much on that. And then Owen and his mom kind of revealed that, like, Kendra had drove hours to see him at his games, even after him and Lauren broke up, and that he was kind of like a mom, but she was cutting his steak, just a bunch of weird stuff. And I was like, Jill, where was your mama radar when that was going on? You didn't find that kind of weird? I know she was calling him and texting him and stuff, because I'm like, why are you having a separate conversation? I think the cut article also said something like she had texted him from Lauren's phone. Baby, it was a lot. So Kendra says that she didn't send the first text. Ma'am, again, be so for real. It don't make you look no better to say you didn't you didn't send the first couple groups of texts. The Halloween ones actually look worse, in my opinion. Now, Chloe's parents were relieved that we got to the bottom of this. Dad said, you know, he knew it was Kendra all along. Okay, he knew it was Kendra all along. Their attitude was it wasn't that good. But I think the cut article also referenced that more people in the town were aware that it was Kendra. It could possibly be Kendra. So I don't know. And there's a whole other story in the Clock app in another state of a similar story that happened that I got to go check that out and see what's up with that. So she got 2 felony counts of stalking, which I think was 18 months was the maximum. And she ended up spending, I think, less than a year, which is deplorable. I said this stalking, so not being a PDF file. We're not gonna do that, because clearly she was jealous of that daughter, and that, you know, she was in love with that boy, and it was disgusting. And the fact that we didn't address that, and you harassed multiple teenagers, so you should have got more than 2 counts. But that's the main 2 people you're stalking. But the fact that I don't want to rant too much. The fact that they really just didn't get into that more, that we didn't delve into, I think we were missing a large piece of the text messages that she sent to him. The ones she sent to her own daughter were disgusting. You like that little boy, it's nasty. And I don't even know how they let you out. Okay. So she was writing Lauren or emailing her while she was locked up. But I think since she's been released, she can't see her. And thanks for that. Okay. Lauren needs to heal. Like I said, people were talking about the poor girl because, one, they was mixing different parts of the documentary. So they was mixing parts where she was talking about, you know, when she was younger, prior to her mom going in, and then some of them were after the mom came out. And they kind of mixed them together to, you know, to throw you off and make it seem like she was saying some things that she didn't say because the timing was different. But, you know, she had love for her mom. How can you not? It's your mom. It's your mom. So there's a little Stockholm syndrome going on there, and a bunch of other things. And I really could get into it because I understand, you know, not having that relationship, but it's just so many different ways you can delve into this with a mother and daughter, the mother-daughter relationship. Like I said, her being jealous of the daughter, you know, the poor girl's reaction, which meant, you know, if you're going through this via unknown caller and text messages, Lord knows what else you was putting this child through. I cannot imagine. It's just disgusting. Long story short, wrapping this thing up, Kendra needs to be on somebody's list. That is all. Please get down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this documentary. If you have any more information to bring about this case, about this documentary, anything you've heard on social media, and just, you know, your overall thoughts, like how you feel about the kids dating so young. How do you feel about the content of the text that she was sending to these children? Get down in the comments. Let's talk about it. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Please check out some of my other content, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.